Your child might be safe from TikTok, Instagram, or Snapchat, but what about your Wi-Fi? If your home network isn't locked down, your kid has access to the entire internet 24/7 without limits. And worse, they could be bypassing every parental control you think you have set up. Today, I'm going to show you how to take back control of your home network and set up network filters for your Wi-Fi so that your children are protected. This is the exact advice that I've given to schools to help them filter their school network. Welcome to the Parent Tech Support Show, where I empower parents with the tech knowledge they need to know to protect their kids online. My mission is to demystify parental controls, share practical tips, share important guides, and reveal all the tricks that kids know so that you can navigate the online world with confidence. I'm your host, Jack Hughes, and because I grew up in this age of digital devices, I have plenty of experience with getting around parental controls and doing stuff I wasn't allowed to. But those days are now over. Today, I use all my experience and inside information to help parents protect their kids online. Now, why is locking down your Wi-Fi such a game changer? Why is that important? Well, most parents don't realize this, but your Wi-Fi router is one of the most powerful parental control tools in your house. Every device connects to it. Your phone connects to your router, your laptop, tablets, iPads, Android tablets, gaming consoles like Xbox, PlayStation, they all connect to your router. Even smart TVs like the Apple TV or like a Roku TV, they all connect to your router. So if you can filter all of the internet and the bad stuff from the router itself, not just on the device like the iPad or the TV, if you can filter it all on the router, then you can filter everything, and you're essentially cutting it off at the source. And another bonus that filtering from the router gets you is that you'll be able to block burner phones or other devices that you wouldn't be able to block normally, like school iPads or burner phones, or even guest devices from being able to access harmful content. And burner phones is like a second phone that kids will get to get around parental controls on their main device. Like I had a burner phone growing up. It was an old Android that I would use to get around parental controls. And if my parents filtered the internet to the router level, it wouldn't be able to get through those restrictions. So a router level control has a lot more security. You can do a lot more and cover a lot more ground with router parental internet controls. And if you're thinking that sounds complicated, you might be right in that sense where it is complicated, but don't worry. I can walk you through how to set all this up. You can get a call with me and I'll help you set all this up myself, and you can find that at parenttech.support. But you can also still keep watching this video and I'll give you some tips and guides on how to set it up yourself without getting on a call with me. But first thing you should know about router controls is not all routers have parental controls built into it. Some routers have really good parental controls, and some routers don't really have parental controls at all. It really depends on the router that you use. And there are so many routers out there. You have every major network or internet service has their own router for you. Or you can just go on Best Buy and find 50 different routers with different benefits and stuff. There are some routers that are specifically made with parental controls in mind, like the Bark router or the Griffin router. I recommend those. Google makes a router. Spectrum has a router. There are loads of routers, and some have good parental controls and some do not. So in order to check and see if your router has parental controls, and if they do, how to set up these parental controls, we're going to have to access the router's internet settings or the router settings. And so to do that, you need to find your IP address. So if you're on a Windows computer, you're going to open the command prompt and type in ipconfig. Now that command will be in the description. You just copy that in and put it into the command prompt and type enter, and then look for default gateway, and that would be your router's IP address. You're gonna need that number. And if you're on Mac, you're gonna open up terminal and type in netstat-nr space grep default. Now again, I also have that command in the description. You'll just copy and paste that into terminal, press enter, and you should get your IP address. And you need your IP address to access the router controls. Next, you're going to take that IP address, that string of numbers that you got either from your Windows command prompt or your Mac terminal. You're going to take that number and you're going to take it to a web browser. It could be a Safari, it could be Chrome, it could be Internet Explorer. And you're going to take that IP address and you're going to put it into your web browser. And then you're going to press enter. It doesn't have to be that ipaddress.com. It doesn't have to be ipaddress.edu or something. Just that string of numbers, and you're going to press enter on the web browser. And if you're connected to your router, which you should be doing this, you want to make sure you're connected to your router. You're connected to your Wi-Fi. You take that IP address, you press enter, and then it should show you your router settings. It should be like a little menu. Now for my router, it requires me to sign in with the username and a password. A lot of routers will have a sign in part. Some routers won't. Like I'll be at a coffee shop and I'll just type in the IP address and it'll let me access the router settings without signing in. But some routers will have you sign in. For me, the default sign in for the username was admin and the password was also admin. These 9 times out of 10, the default will be admin. But if it's not admin, you can check the sticker on the router. A lot of times routers will have sticker with the username and password written on it, or it'll be somewhere else on the router itself. So once you get the username or password and sign into the router settings, you'll be able to find the parental controls, which is built into the routers. So you're gonna have to navigate to the parental controls and see what you can do there. But I should also mention that some routers, like the Google Nest, don't use the browser to access the router settings. For example, the Google router, as I just mentioned, it's part of the Google Nest or like the Google Home app, and so only way to access the router settings is through the Home app. But 9 times out of 10, most routers, you're going to be able to access it through the web browser using the IP address, and that's how most router settings are accessed. So once you're into the router settings, that doesn't matter if it's on the Google Nest app or on the web browser, you're gonna look for parental controls. Some routers will have different filter options. Some routers will only allow you to add 5 filters. Some routers will have whitelist filter options or blacklist filter options, or both. Whitelist filter options are essentially you're blocking every single website out there except for the few that you allow on the whitelist. And the blacklist is the opposite of that. It'll allow every website but block the few that you tell it to block. Or sometimes it'll have categories like block pornography or block social media but allow everything else. Now, a lot of these filters aren't the best, especially the blacklist filters, because if you say block every porn website out there, it's not going to be able to block every single porn website out there, just because there are, thousands of websites created daily. So it's never possible to block every single porn website. And there are some websites like YouTube or like Twitter or x.com, like now that it's called, some social media sites like that, which they're not supposed to be pornography on those sites, but a lot of times you still can find pornography, especially on X. There's a lot of porn on X, and the filter or the internet is not going to block x.com because it thinks it's not a porn website, even though you can still find porn on these sites. So the blacklist filter usually isn't the best way to filter the internet. Usually you want to go with a whitelist filter option, but that's up for you. Now let's say that your router does not have parental controls built into it that you can find on the router settings, or maybe it does have parental controls and you just don't like it. It's very basic and it can't really adequately protect your child. Well, there is another option. There is another strategy that we can use to set up really good filters for your home internet, and that's using DNS filtering. DNS stands for domain name service. Now, I don't have the time right now to get into how it all works, but there are two services that we can use using DNS filtering to better protect, to better filter your home network. And the two services that I'm going to be telling you about is number one, CleanBrowsing, and number two, Open DNS. So to set up CleanBrowsing, which is a more advanced version, Open DNS is free, but you can't do as much stuff. CleanBrowsing is a paid version, and I think it's like $7 a month or something like that. Maybe it's $10 a month for a family plan. It's a lot more advanced and it's a lot easier to use, but again, it's paid, where you could use Open DNS. But to set up CleanBrowsing, you're going to go to cleanbrowsing.org. You're going to choose a plan. Then you're going to log into your router settings. Now, just like the steps I gave earlier, you're going to find your IP address and you're going to sign into your router settings. And then on your router settings, you're going to look for your DNS settings. So usually this is going to be under internet or LAN or LAN. Sometimes it's under WAN. And you're just going to try to find where it says DNS and DNS settings. And then you're going to replace the default DNS numbers with the ones that CleanBrowsing gives you. For example, the numbers that CleanBrowsing gave me was 185.228.68.69. And once I put those into my DNS settings on my router settings, once I put in the numbers that CleanBrowsing gave me, then I clicked apply, and then my home internet was set up with CleanBrowsing, and I was able to restrict or able to filter my home internet with CleanBrowsing without setting up parental controls on the router itself. I was able to use CleanBrowsing to filter the internet. And so with CleanBrowsing, you're able to set up whitelist filter system where you can block every single website. You're able to filter by selecting certain categories like blocking pornography, blocking gambling, or whatever you want. You can add specific sites that you want it to block. You can do a lot with CleanBrowsing. It's a really good filtering software. I think even they have a AI filter. Then again, I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head. I'm pretty certain they have a AI filter where it will scan the website before it allows it to go through to search for pornography, but I might be mistaken. But highly recommend CleanBrowsing and setting it up, and it's a great way to filter your internet. Now, Open DNS is also really good, but it's not as secure as CleanBrowsing, but Open DNS is also free, so it's really a no-brainer to set up these router filters. And as a bonus, CleanBrowsing will also give you logs so you can see who accessed what on your internet. So you'll be able to see, okay, Claire's phone accessed the internet at 7:30 a.m. and viewed youtube.com, or Timothy's iPad was on Instagram.com at 10 p.m. So you'll be able to see what websites, what devices access. Now, a lot of this is confusing, and you probably will be quite confused when you set this up, and this podcast may not be adequate for you. So again, you can book that free 15-minute call with me on my website at parental-control, and I can walk you through how to set up these internet filters, or if you want to learn more about how to use screen time to filter the device or set up parental controls on the device itself, which is something I highly recommend more than these internet filters, because let's say they just turn off their Wi-Fi and use their cellular, you still want to be able to filter their device on cellular stuff, or if they go to McDonald's, to filter their device on McDonald's. And you want to learn how to protect your child from online stuff from a professional. I highly recommend booking a free 50-minute call with me at my website, parental-control, and we'll talk about how I can help you protect your child online. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode with fellow parents. That really helps me help them and get the word out, because this is a small podcast. And thank you for listening. I'll see you later on the Parent Tech Support Show.